So we're not even talking about the amount of criminals that don't. South Africans, I think, will generally be left defenseless, law-abiding citizens at least, even more defenseless than they are now if a bill like this is passed.
The South African Police Service is responsible for protecting safety and security in South Africa, but problems are arising in the police in terms of their ability to hold on to their weapons, with many thousands of firearms being lost by the police every year. Joining me to discuss is Ian Cameron, who runs the website firearms.co.za. Ian, welcome to the Centre for Risk Analysis.
Thanks, David.
So Ian, what is happening with the police? Why are they losing so many firearms? And could you give us an idea of the scale of the problem that they're currently facing?
Yeah, I think there's several factors to take into consideration. I think if we start just as a broad overview, in the last probably around 15 years, the police have lost over 26,000, probably almost around 30,000 firearms. Now, if you try and compare that to something, think about it like this. In South Africa, we've got approximately 21,000 murders per year, 58 murders per day. If you were to say that each one of those firearms were to be used to commit a murder in South Africa, it would almost be as good as saying the police or have an arm's length involvement in violent crime. Now, if you go and look in a place like, for example, Cape Town, ex-indicted cop Chris Prinsloo openly admitted in court that he was responsible for flooding the Cape Flats with over 9,000 firearms that were in or under police control. And the list goes on, but I think there's a general incompetence problem, because if you look at the last relatively decent internal audit document that was done in the South African Police Service between 2010 and 2012, it indicated that at that stage, 47% of cops in the Eastern Cape weren't competent to carry firearms. But they were carrying firearms. So that's just a general overview. And then, at the moment, and we can talk about that now, but with the sudden draconian or stringent gun control mechanisms that government would like to implement, at the same time, their house isn't in order, to the point where the firearms registry, the Central Firearms Registry, has literally come to a standstill because the system is absolutely broken.
Enjoying this analysis? Click here to sign up for our 30-day free trial for more content from the CIA.
Let's talk about some of the developments that you alluded to there. There's the Firearms Control Amendment Bill, which will seek to limit the ability of individuals to carry a gun or own a gun for self-defense purposes. Then at the same time, we see these capacity problems with the SAPS itself. How do you see this process playing out? That seems to be a direct risk to the security of ordinary citizens.
Yeah, I think it poses a major risk to ordinary citizens. I think we're actually at a point in South Africa that, and it's not to become kind of stuck in conspiracy theories, but we're at a point in South Africa where if they are going to take law-abiding citizens' firearms and take away their right to defend themselves with firearms, we've come to a point where other bills and other draconian laws or legislation will be passed because it's easier to push and force people into that direction. I must say, if we go look at the police along with the National Prosecuting Authority, less than 20% of criminal cases or criminals are successfully convicted. So that is only from the amount that actually make it to court. So we're not even talking about the amount of criminals that don't. South Africans, I think, will generally be left defenseless, law-abiding citizens at least, even more defenseless than they are now if a bill like this is passed. If we look at something like gender-based violence, which is a major issue in the country, the police have not paid for their PCAM system, which is the system that stores heaps or all of their forensic evidence. And now for more than a year, that system has been off. If we go look at, for example, the firearm permit system, exactly the same thing, non-payment. And that means that over 500,000 police weapons can't be tracked. So the risk for ordinary law-abiding citizens in South Africa is very, very high. I think the sad part is that the majority of law-abiding people in South Africa can't even afford private security. And I'm not even talking about the impact that a bill like this would have on private security, but they can't afford private security. And for that reason, they are at even higher risk. The challenge and what, from a Firearms of SA point of view, what we say is that we encourage, first of all, people to be legally armed. And we are of opinion that if you are able to defend yourself as an armed, law-abiding citizen, you are able to defend your family. If you are able to defend your family, you are able to defend your neighbors. And if neighbors can defend each other, they can defend a community. So it's a whole mindset that we need to change, that first of all, we can't be dependent on government alone. And second of all, we need to take responsibility for our own safety, because the cops, when they actually react, usually take an average of 20 minutes to actually react. In rural areas, it's even worse.
Ian, thanks very much. Could you tell us more about firearms.coza and what you're hoping to achieve with the website?
Yeah, so Firearms of SA was born in the last 12 months. The idea behind it is that it's a platform that really shares every kind of opinion and news angle in terms of gun rights in South Africa, gun control in South Africa, and it's unashamedly pro legally arming citizens. So it's not, we could actually say that it's quite biased in that aspect, and that's 100% with me. The point is, we need to make sure that this debate can be openly held. I've even organized that we publish pieces about, for example, gun-free South Africa. Although we differ quite drastically in opinion, I think it's important that we open the discussion. So Firearms at SA focuses mainly on blogs and news and opinion pieces regarding guns and gun rights. And then also there are a few smaller bits and pieces in terms of firearm training and firearm legalities. Then also, I think linked to that is the Safe Citizen campaign. Firearms.co.za really supports the Safe Citizen campaign. I'm also involved with Safe Citizen as a board member. And the idea behind Safe Citizen is simply that we believe an armed citizen is a safe citizen, obviously lawfully armed. And we would really like to encourage that. We try and also encourage women especially. And the reason for that is that it immediately can equal the playing field to someone that would previously have been far more, or could easily become a victim. It equals the playing field between her and the potential suspect or attacker.
Ian, thanks very much for joining us on the Center for Risk Analysis. We'll put links to those websites in the description below. My name is David Ansara. This is the CRA. If you enjoyed this analysis, please do give this video a like and subscribe to the channel.